this video, we're going to be laying the fairway framework here, using the distance tool again. At the very least, you don't have to do all of these steps when you create your course, as I'm going to. But at the very least, you should use the distance tool to decide how the width is going to be for your landing area. So we've already talked about how the landing area is this spot right here. It's this line at 265. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a line going across for how long or how wide I want the fairway to be at that point. This is a pretty early mistake for designers, is either to make it too wide or much more commonly too. From what I've seen on forums, a lot of differing opinions about this, and we'll move over here for this bit. But if you actually move to 10 yards here, you will see that some designers put the landing area within a 10-yard framework, and this is entirely too narrow. This is bad. A lot of early designers, myself included, I don't think I ever went down this far. I think the lowest I ever went was about 12 or 13 if I really wanted to choke somebody. But a lot of designers will really try to choke the fairway, because driving in this game is really very easy. Actually, if you make a fairway 10 long, so long with being 10 wide the entire way, a lot of players will actually be able to hit in that fairway. It's still kind of cheap. Even when you go up towards 15, this is still considered pretty narrow. Up until you get to really 20. Yards across for most is really where you start to see an acceptable distance in terms of how wide something should be across. You really have to make that decision as a designer about how fair or really how much you're trying to trick the golfer. When it comes to tricking the golfer, I honestly would give up on it. This game is very easy to hit straight. If you're thinking in terms of how the golfer is going to mess up, most of the time, if they're just a little off within their red cone, the most that they'll miss is by this or this. Even if you have a pretty narrow fairway, most golfers can hit the fairway. When a golfer actually messes up, they will actually shank shots way over here or way over here. So in my opinion, if it was me and I was designing, I would make sure that the width of your fairway is actually somewhere between, if you're really trying to force a narrow landing area, I would go no lower than maybe 17 yards across. 15 at the minimum maybe, but for the majority of your fairways, I would really stick somewhere between 25 to 35 yards. Not only is it more aesthetically pleasing to look at a very nice wide fairway, but whether you have a wide fairway or whether you have a narrow fairway, most golfers are going to be able to hit the fairway anyways. If they really and truly mess up, it's going to shank very far left or right, messing up what they do anyway. So what I'm gonna do for this is I'm gonna set my landing area with a width of I'll probably do it at about 30 here, going across. So when I go end up at actually setting my fairway, this is about what I'll want it to be within, and that's plenty of distance. Nobody should really mess that up unless they themselves mess up on the drive. I'm not trying to trick them. This is very easy and straightforward as far as a drive is concerned. When you're designing a hole, you will want to figure out where the difficulty is going to come from, whether it's on their drive or whether it's on their approach shot, and you don't want to make every single shot on every single hole absolutely ridiculous. In terms of this hole, the difficulty is not going to come from the drive. The drive should be incredibly simple. The difficulty is going to come from after they land, whether or not they decide they want to cross the water or whether they want to lay up to the fairway that's diagonal over here. So in terms of my fairway width, I think that 30 is plenty wide across. I think that's about it. So what I'm actually going to do here is I'm actually going to trace along my line here. going this way. What I'm actually going to do is I'm going to keep making a skeletal framework, really, of how wide I want the fairway to be. So I mentioned this was going to be the start of my fairway. I don't have to constantly stay at 30 yards, but I do want to stay within that general nature. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to keep... this is about as wide as my fairway is going to look, and it's going to stay about this wide. So what I'm doing here is just laying a general framework for... what I want my fairway to look like. You can. This is again just kind of a layout for how you want it to look. It's to help you shape the course later. Like I said, I'm staying within that 20 to 30 bubble just for general appearances. I think I've kind of run out of things to talk about here, so I'm gonna finish this up. We'll go to the next video, which is gonna deal with the green. I'll catch you in the next video.